JJ Math.
Please try test 2, so pause the video here, do each sum, and then mark with me at the end. If you don't understand anything, you can check the whole explanation for the question. But please let me know, how much did you get out of 21 for this test? Question 1, I'm sitting with a trinomial, but before I do the trinomial, I'm going to take out a common factor. So I'm going to take out a 5, and that will leave me with x squared minus 4x plus 3. In this case, the 5, and then my 2 brackets. So this would be an x and x. And with 3, there's only one factor pair. I know it's 3 times 1, and I need to give both brackets a minus. Question 2, also trinomial. Yeah, in this case, I can see it's 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. So I know my brackets would start with a y each, and then with the factor pairs, I need to add them to get a 5. So it's definitely that one. So I put the biggest one in the first bracket, and then the other one, this sign goes down, and this says it's the same sign for the other bracket. There we go, that's the final answer. Question 3, a trinomial again, and this would then just be a k and a k, and the factors of 2 are just 2 and 1. The biggest one gets the first sign, and the signs must be different. Question 4, there are 2 terms, they have even exponents, and both of them are squares. I can't take out a common factor, so I can just immediately start with the 2 brackets, one with a minus, one with a plus. So this would be 4x squared, 4x squared, and then the other one would just be 9 and 9. Okay, so I did difference of squares, and now I need to double check, can I maybe go further? So the bracket with the plus, I can't do anything because you don't get factorization called the sum of 2 squares. But the bracket that had a minus, I need to take further because everything in there is squared. So this would be 2x minus 3, 2x plus 3, and then the last one stays 4x squared plus 9. There we go. That is my final answer. Question 5. Okay, so 2 terms. So it could be difference of squares, but that a has a multiple of 3 as an exponent. So what I would do first is I would just shuffle them. I don't like it if my expressions start with a minus. So 64 minus a cubed. Then it's going to be difference of cubes. So small bracket, big bracket. What times what times what gives me 64? It would just be a 4 minus a. And then for the big bracket, square the first one, multiply them but change the sign, and then square the last one. There we go. I am done. Question 6. Okay, there's 4 terms, so this must be grouping. I am always going to attempt to just group the first 2 and the last 2. And in this case, I can take out 2x from the first 2. Okay. I am seeing a problem because my first bracket would have an x in, and my second bracket would have a y in. So my strategy won't work. I will have to reshuffle in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 4x squared minus y squared. So when you get stuck, always try to put the squares together and see if you can maybe then do something with that. So in this case, if I do the first 2 together, I can actually do difference of squares, and that would give me 2x minus y and 2x plus y. For the second group, I can take out a negative 3, and I would be left with 2x minus y. Okay, perfect. Now I have common brackets, because this one and this one is common, and I can take them out as my common factors. So this would be 2x minus y. I am left with another bracket, so I must use block brackets. 2x plus y minus 3. To leave my final answer, I cannot leave it with brackets inside of brackets. So the final answer would be 2x plus y minus 3. Now I'm done. Okay, question 7. I must always try to take out a common factor, and I can if I do a sign change rule. So in this case, the first part just stays the same, cubed, and then I need to swap the last 2, but I need to change the sign. So x minus y. Okay, now my common factor would be one of those brackets. So I'm going to take out an x minus y, and I am going to be left with x minus y squared minus 4. Okay, in the big bracket, that is actually difference of squares. So I can say this is x minus y, and then this would be x minus y minus 2, and then another bracket like this, x minus y plus 2. Then just rewrite your final answer with just round brackets. So in this case, this would just be x minus y minus 2, and the other one, x minus y plus 2. Okay, perfect. Those are all the questions. Let's mark and see how you did. Question 1 would be 3 marks. I would get a mark for taking out the 5 and then a mark for each bracket. Question 2, just 2 marks, a mark for each bracket. The same with question 3. Okay, question 4 would count 3 marks. So I would get a mark for doing the first difference of 2 squares and then a mark for getting this difference of squares correct and then not changing the last bracket. So remember, I said sometimes you get marks for not changing something. That would be this case. Many people would split the last bracket with this plus as well, but it's impossible. You are not allowed to. Question 5 would be 3 marks. I would get a mark for doing something with the minus. Okay, and then a mark for the small bracket and a mark for the big bracket. So you could have done the difference of cubes with the minus in front. That's completely possible. They would then give you an extra mark for that, but I would rather reshuffle them to not start with a minus. Question 6 counted 4 marks. I would get a mark for doing the correct grouping, then for doing the difference of squares, then for taking out the correct factor, and then for leaving my brackets in the correct form. Question 7 also counted 4 marks. I would get a mark for doing the sign change, taking out the common factor, and then for leaving my brackets in the correct form when doing the difference of 2 squares. Okay, how much did you get for test 2? Please let me know in the comments, and then also go on to test 3 and see overall for the 3 tests, did you improve or did you struggle with some of the sums?
If this video helped you, please like and subscribe.
JJ Math!